63, Wales 37. And that's the best game the Welsh have put up against New Zealand in a long, long time, because New Zealand have averaged wins by over 40 points in their last 9 games against the Welsh, but not tonight. A 16-point margin doesn't quite tell us of the tremendous effort the Welsh have played with pride in the Principality. But New Zealand are the winners and go through to the game next week against South Africa. And here is Colin Jarvis.
Colin Jarvis, captain of Wales. I don't know, should I be commiserating or congratulating you?
Well, the obvious one is the commiserations. You know, we wanted to do as well as we could this evening. And I think we're very proud of the fact that we put up a very good performance. We held out our character towards the end. But it was one of those games that we could have played a little bit better and probably had a better scoreline reflecting in that.
Well, you sound very level-headed and cool, but at times some of the rugby you turned on today was fairly breathtaking.
Well, we knew that after our first 3 games that we had to step up a bit to perform against the New Zealanders, and that's what we aimed for this evening. I think that's what we did.
And in the end, what just told? Was it you couldn't keep that up, I suppose?
I think there is a certain aspect of maybe a bridge too far, but we'll be proud of our performance this evening. You know, congratulations to the New Zealanders. They showed their class, especially towards the end, the way they were finishing their tries, and obviously we've got to wish them the best of luck for the rest of the tournament, but we've got another game to build for now, so next week in Brisbane we'll look forward to the English.
Well, commiserations and congratulations.
Thank you.
Just listen to that applause, because that interview is played on the big screen for the people out here to hear and listen to and appreciate. Pride in the performance from the captain, Colin Jarvis. And now here is Reuben Thorne.
Well, it's relief, I'm sure, for captain Reuben Thorne. Reuben, a clean sweep in full play for the All Blacks, despite a very determined effort by the Welsh tonight.
Yeah, I thought they played fantastic. You know, we wanted a real contest, and they certainly gave it to us.
Were you surprised?
Oh no, they're a very passionate team, you know, and they've improved a lot since we played them in Hamilton, and they showed that tonight. They were very strong and competitive out there.
Just 4 points adrift at half-time. Was the message to turn the focus onto defence for the All Blacks in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, that was the area that let us down a wee bit, you know, so we tried to pick that up and play more in the other end of the field. So we tried that in the second half, and eventually it paid off.
And I guess looking ahead to South Africa now, it's the tough hit out that you guys really needed.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was a real battle, and that's what we wanted going into the quarterfinals. So now we can look forward to South Africa.
Relax for a few days at least. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Well, it certainly was a tough hit out, and was it just what the All Blacks needed?
You're right, I think it was, John. They, to me, you know, I played against the Wales years and years ago. Pardon me, I've never seen a game like it.
No.
It's tremendous, and their performance in Hamilton compared with that, you can't compare it. They just played so well, and the All Blacks weren't allowed to get into it.
It just goes to show, doesn't it? In World Cup, if we go back 4 years when the All Blacks beat France by 1 million points at Athletic Park and then went on to that infamous game in the semi-finals, you can't take any notice of prior performances. It's got to be, you know, the match on that day and all that sort of
We've got to remember,
cliches.
it's a tournament.
Yeah.
We've got to remember that. And I mean, today, I agree, the Welsh played with pride, with verve, with passion, all those things. But I mean, and the supporters are really happy. But I mean, we should be happy too, because the All Blacks have won.
Yes, of course.
Well.
Yeah, it was an outstanding game there, and might we borrow a Fitzy, all credit to Wales. They played exceptionally well, and I suppose now we can, at home in New Zealand, say now we know what England felt like when Samoa took it to them. No game is easy at the Rugby World Cup. We'll come back and talk more about this game between the New Zealand team and Wales very soon. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones, wasn't it? Just came in the air, and being the tallest, I suppose I meant to catch them. So, you know, it was lucky, but you know, takes our hats off to the Welsh. It was a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was a very tight match, wasn't it? And were you, Reuben said he wasn't surprised at what the Welsh threw at you, but did it surprise you really that they were so different to what you'd seen earlier in the year in New Zealand? You can't hear us, Ali, or can you? Just push that thing in a bit more. Can you hear us okay? No, you can't. He's gone. Okay, never mind. Well, fortunately, you didn't have to answer that long question. So you can go back to your...
Yeah, no, Colin was just talking about the scrummage, and any time Andre Watson stepped in and said, here, listen, keep it up, otherwise I'll red card you, yellow card you, penalise you, they held the scrum up, and the All Blacks scored from it. So I would say that could have been a bit of their tactic: unsettle crowd, get right up close before the engagement and crowd them and make an unstable scrummage. So, you know, you have to give them a bit of credit. They took the game to the All Blacks, but and like I said before, I'd never seen a Welsh team for a long time play with that much passion and that much ability.
Yeah, well, the record, incidentally, 17 points was the previous highest any Welsh team had scored against the All Blacks in a test match, and that was last year. So to get, what they get, 37, that's an outstanding effort, and one which will have them singing in the valleys these days. First try scorer for New Zealand was Joe Rokocoko.
Joe Rokocoko, is it elation or relief?
It's a bit of both, really. You know, we expected a hard game coming up to tonight, and you know, we expected a hard game, and we did get it tonight.
Well, the All Blacks were after a tough hit out. You certainly got that. The Welsh really tight on defence and elusive on attack.
Yeah, it was a bit of both, really. You know, it was good for the crowd to come in. There was fantastic tries that were scored from both teams. Well, I guess the boys really needed that game, especially with the quarterfinals coming up. There's those kind of times that, you know, really got to dig in and empty the tank.
How frustrating was it to play? Because it looked like the Welsh really disrupted the All Black rhythm tonight.
Like, you know, yeah, that was first, especially from the start of the second half, was really hard to get our pattern going, because we couldn't stick to our game plan, because, you know, they were bringing us from all over the place. So it was good to come out in the end. You know, we kept it pretty tight, and, you know, the gap started to appear.
Team going to be ready for South Africa?
I think we are now. You know, it's, you know, lots of positives that we can bring out tonight. You know, some of the weaknesses with defence, and we'll work hard this week.
Joe Rokocoko, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Some more statistics just coming up for you to have a look at now. Secondary phases and passes from rucks one. Gee, Wales did very well. That's not typical of Wales. They spun the ball so often from rucks. 85% of their possession from rucks, they moved it wide. Tackles, they tackled extremely well, but not much difference between those. Wales did miss 29 tackles, but more importantly, I think New Zealand missed 15 of them. Aaron Major was making his return to the All Black team.
Okay, Aaron Major, the All Blacks second 5/8 with us. The first 3 games of this Rugby World Cup, very much one-way traffic. Tonight we've seen some heavy congestion out there. What was that rugby test like as a player out there?
Yeah, it's certainly one of the toughest tests I've played, and they've got to give credit to the Welsh. So they come out and they threw everything at us, and probably a bit more than what we expected. But you know, they certainly gave it to us, and the boys are certainly feeling it inside the shed.
Aaron, all week you talked up the threat that the Welsh posed. Were you at all surprised with the physicality and the commitment they hit you with?
Not at all, really. We knew they were going to be tough, and they just showed that their physical attributes, and their big guys really took to our big guys, and their backs played really well, and they made some good breaks, and it was hard when we were going back to try and defend that.
I guess the most pleasing aspect of the night must have been the response to pressure. With only a quarter to go, this game could have been lost, and you ended up winning it reasonably comfortably in the end.
It's certainly been our toughest test to date, and I thought the boys remained pretty composed towards the end there, and we managed to get on top in the last 15 minutes, and that was good. Showed a lot of patience there, and that rewarded us in the end.
A feeling as this Rugby World Cup campaign gets down to the business end, this was perhaps just what the doctor ordered, a match the All Blacks needed?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the intensity hasn't been quite that high in the last few games, so it's good for us to have a good hit out going into the quarterfinals against South Africa, because they played very well in their game yesterday.
And we've got to ask you, how's that knee? You've come through your first run of the Rugby World Cup. Everything fine and ready for another start if required?
Yeah, back to 100%, and it's gone pretty well from here, so I think I'll put that behind me and looking forward to another game, hopefully.
And blowing a little hard, I see now, but good to get the run under the belt.
Yeah, for sure. First game in 10 weeks, always going to be blowing a wee bit, but it's good to get out the way, and look forward to heading on from here.
Thanks very much, Aaron Major. Cheers, mate.
Well, we've got Richie McCaw standing there live now. Richie, thanks for joining us here on One Sport. That's a totally different game to what the All Blacks struck against Wales a few months ago, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, and I think we expected that. They came out and really got stuck into us, and you know, we had a great game of footy, and lucky we came away in the end with the win. But it was a good hit out there. And that's obviously what the All Blacks really wanted, isn't it? A good hit out before you get into the quarterfinals. Yeah, we definitely we knew that was going to happen, and it is what we needed. But you know, a few little things didn't quite go away. But you got to give credit to the Welsh team. They came out and we didn't do a whole lot wrong. We just forced the odd pass and missed 1 or 2 vital tackles, and they capitalised on it. And you know, they're a good team, and I guess, you know, the boys showed composure and managed to score those tries near the end.
Yeah, Richard Lowe speaking. Great game. The scrummage, did you find the Welsh were coming up and, you know, sort of crowding us a little?
Yeah, they were, and they did it quite effectively. They managed to screw our ball at times and put our, you know, we didn't get our sides quite the way we wanted, and because of that, the backs probably didn't quite get the ball they're after. But you know, it was a good forward battle, and we did get the ball we wanted near the end, and scored some tries off our set phase. But definitely some bit of work to do there.
What's the feeling now, Richie? It's a good win for the All Blacks, obviously, but is there a sense of relief or feeling that, gee, we've got to step up a bit more for the big games ahead, or what really is the feeling?
Yeah, we definitely realise we're going to have to step up a lot more going into next week, but having that game is only going to be good for us, and get back training this week, and we're going to look at it and see what we've got to work on, and there's definitely a few things, but I don't think we're too far off the mark, and just perhaps the first couple of tries came perhaps a fraction easy, and perhaps we should have just played a little bit more field position at times, but you know, it's hard, it's easy to say in hindsight, but you know, we'll look at that, and next week we'll have to take another step up, but we realise, you know, as we go through to the knockout stage of the tournament, to get what we want, we're going to have to do that.
Richie, Colin Hawke, the tackle phase tonight was pretty well done. The discipline was pretty good. There wasn't too many penalties. How did you think Andre handled that phase of play for you?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. Every ref's a little bit different, but you just got to adapt to that, and the Welsh did very well at having a crack at our ball on the ground, and perhaps at times we're a wee bit guilty of not removing the guy that was standing over it on their feet, so that'll be something we have to work on, but I think he gave everyone a fair crack, and we got some good quick ball, as did they, so you know, I've got no complaints there, but perhaps we just need to look at ourselves at times to make sure we get that good clean ball.
Okay, hey Richie, thanks very much for joining us after a hectic game out there. We were thinking that maybe the All Blacks were designing it so you'd meet England in the quarterfinals, but clearly that wasn't the case. Thanks very much, Richie, and well done.
Thanks very much.
Okay, Richie McCaw there, who moved, of course, from number 7 to number 8, basically, when Jerry Collins went off. And you've obviously seen them at practice, and that's been practiced a little bit, that McCaw does fit into the boot quite nicely.
Yes, he does. We saw it the other week there too, but I might have to have a good yarn to Leon about just his positional play.
Yeah, I noticed.
Didn't give Case that little edge he needed.
Case Muse, you might have noticed when Leon McDonald went down on the blind side for that scrum, which was not a great scrum, suddenly grabbed Leon by the hair and pulled him up into his backside a wee bit to give him a bit of here we go, you watch it here. That he just pulled him in at that stage, but suddenly that scrum was well blown. I don't know whether we'll see that again too often, will we?
Oh, you know, Leon has to have a damn good look at that, I'm afraid.
I think so.
You know, letting poor old Case down like that.
It just comes back to the situation where backs should keep out of the forward.
For years and years, the back coaches have told the forwards to keep out of the back line.
Yeah, and now the vice versa. Let's take a look at some scoring breakdowns here as we see the All Blacks scored 8-4, so each got a bonus point. The goal kicking from Leon McDonald, he did miss 3 tonight, but he went for about 16 in a row without a miss, so 66% for him, 100% for Wales. So the All Blacks squandering 6 points there, but winning by 53-37. So the best strike rate now amongst the goal kickers, Kurihara from Japan has 92%, Humphreys of Ireland, and then McDonald with 85%. And we see...
Yeah, it was a fantastic effort, but, you know, at the end of the day, we run short, and the All Blacks, you know, finished over the top of us a wee bit in the last 10 minutes to win the game. And, you know, that's the disappointing thing for us. Though we're very happy about the performance, we're still not where we want to be.
What areas did you target going into this game? Because you did expose the All Blacks on occasions in various areas.
Yeah, well, I mean, from the time we played them last time, we just had no composure at all on our ball at set-piece time, and nor when we carried the ball. So we knew that the All Blacks have scored a lot of tries from kick returns and turnover from the tackles, and we know Richie McCaw very, very well, and Marty Holler on the bench. So, you know, we had to look after the ball, and we wanted to attack their line-out and get parity in the scrums, and then try and play some rugby.
Has it given you some nice selection problems for the quarterfinals?
It has, but we'll just have to wait and see, you know, who's still standing after this, and what people are going to understand is the All Blacks play at this intensity every time they play a test match. Our blokes, you know, don't get this, they don't get it at regional rugby level. as we do in the Super 12, and that was the undoing in the end. You know, we've just got to try and create competitions back home that allow that to happen.
Well, Steve, you had us all sweating, and I'm sure the people back in New Zealand watching this game live were very impressed by what Wales did. You didn't enable the All Blacks to get into the free-flowing rugby and the swing of things, so you enabled them only to play so well. So you've got to take a lot of heart out of it, and we thank you for joining us again here on One Sport, and good luck for the quarterfinals, Steve.
Yeah, thanks very much, and you know, obviously we take a lot of heart out of it, but we've just got to get up and do it again now and not get too ahead of ourselves.
Okay, thanks very much. Steve Hansen, the coach of this Welsh team, which has been beaten by the All Blacks by 53-37, but they did score 4 tries and they did lead in the second spell. They gave the All Blacks a bit of a hurry up tonight. We're back soon. For a long time in the country of the leak, and a very good performance by them. 37 points, 4 tries, but eventually the All Blacks won it by 53 points to 37. There are a few problems for the All Blacks. As we talked to Steve Hansen and others there, the Welsh put enough pressure on the All Blacks to force them into errors, which I suppose is good news, and that they're ready for them next week.
Yes. Samoa came out and had a game against England. That was their World Cup final. And really, I think if we see Wales get up next week against England and play with the same intensity, I'll be surprised. As Steve Hansen alluded to, you know, we play with the, you know, our players are fortunate they play with that intensity all the time. And, you know, there's only cosmetic things that went wrong here. They got in front of the line out there, you know, got pushed back, they were all over top of the rucks and mauls. And they put pressure on, and you have to give them credit for that. But I think the All Blacks can lift another notch too. Yeah, indeed. And I think defensively, the All Blacks were put to the sword a wee bit, weren't we? We saw around those rucks and mauls, as you've already talked. We speak about one-off tackling, and you know, the All Blacks are very good at marking up and taking that tackle. But you know, today we saw Wales run the right line, got him behind the first defensive line, and then, you know, we've got Mills Muliaina there, came across several times and cover tackled. And when we were close to the line, there wasn't that opportunity, and that's where the tries came. So, you know, things, you have to try these things and practice these things in game situations to make sure they work. Yeah, we've got some English and South African colleagues working not far from us, and we could hear their yells of excitement as the Welsh took the lead, so it's all friendly rivalry over here in Sydney. All right, let's go back to the stadium now.
Here we are with Ali Williams, a relieved man, a magnificent challenge from the Welsh, and the boys have come through it.
Oh, definitely. It was, you know, we couldn't ask for more in a game like that. They took it to us, and we've got to take our hats off to them. The other hand, you know, maybe we've got to look at ourselves a bit, giving them a sniff. But we needed a game like that going into next week, and coming through something like that, it's always good to get a win.
We've seen perhaps all the competition heavyweights receive a wake-up call during pool play now, Ali, so this was definitely our wake-up call?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the World Cup comes around every 4 years, and you know, so much preparation goes into one, and you just chuck everything at it. We've got to time our run a bit better, and you know, we've got no second chances next week, so it's one of those games, isn't it? Rugby's one of those strange things that can go either way, and we're lucky that it came out on the good side of it.
All week you mentioned that you thought this match would be a step up in intensity, step up in level. Were you even surprised at the ferocity of the Welsh challenge out there?
Oh, no. I mean, the passion in Welsh rugby just starts from the national anthem, doesn't it? And they didn't disappoint us out there at all. So, I mean, we're going to look at ourselves. That's the first people to look at, isn't it? And we'll reassess what went wrong, strengths, weaknesses, and go from there.
Positives we'll take out of this going into that big match against the Springboks next week?
Positives, we're still scoring tries. Kicking goals. And our set phases probably, you know, aren't 100%, but they're getting us ball, and we're giving the backs something to work with. But I mean, what can we say? We were tight one, relieved to get through it, and here's for next week.
And speaking of scoring tries, a special moment, your first test try, I believe, and it was a special one. Yeah, definitely. She's always good to dot over, and I've been waiting for a while, but now that it's come along, I'm relieved, but they're the cherries, isn't it? And I've
got to get back to the hard work.
Is it one that's planned on the training ground, Carlos, the cross kick, you matching up against a short fella and plucking it out of the sky?
I think it's planned with Carlos. It's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, work it out on the field.
Well done, Ali. Congratulations. Cheers.
Yeah, very good. It is not planned at all. I thought you made a good comment during the game that, or Keith Quinn did, I think, didn't he, say that Andre Watson was actually admiring Williams' play there. He was sort of grinning and smiling at some of his play.
There was a bit of interchange going on there, and Ali was doing some good things, and he had a bit of bad luck, and Andre had the presence of mind and be able to speak to him about it. Yeah, I thought Andre refereed with a lot of balance tonight. I mean, I think less experienced referees may would have choked with that. There was good intensity. There was a bit of... The Welsh had a game plan and they executed it very well. Yes. And as I said, they disrupted a wee bit, but they also played very well. Right. And we may have been a bit anxious sometimes, but we've got a couple of things to work on.
Well, Richard Lowe mentioned about the scrums, how the Welsh were crowding them at scrum time, and Richie McCaw agreed. Maybe Dave Hewitt's got a comment about this.
All Black prop, Dave Hewitt. An amazing test. The Welsh really threw everything at you. What are the emotions in the shed now that test is over?
I'm pretty happy to get a win. I mean, against Wales, it's never going to be easy. They've been improving with every game in this tournament, and also I think they were pretty keen not to play England on for the quarters. So they played with the passion that Welsh play with, and you can't deny them that they pushed us to the wire.
Is there a feeling that perhaps this was a match the All Blacks needed and one you will respond to?
Oh, certainly. We knew this was going to be hard, the hardest match for us in the pool. There was New Zealand coaching staff and that sort of thing striving the Welsh as well. So I think that it's been good for us, although we still played reasonably well given the mistakes we made. We scored 8 tries and 50-odd points, so we've got to be happy with that, but there's still a lot to work on, as it was shown.
What are the positives you'll take out of this as you build for a huge match against the Springboks?
Oh, just I think that the small things we need to work on, like in a defensive line and that sort of thing. I mean, it's all there. It's just making sure that it's all knitting together, and it's just those little things that we need to work on. I mean, our scrum was fine. We didn't have that many scrums in the end. They put a bit of pressure on us at our line-out, but we came through later on. So I think it's just the small things which this hard game exposed, and now we realise that we do need to work on them.
So is there a feeling that perhaps tonight maybe the giant was awoken, you'll really step up another gear off this match?
Yeah, I suppose you could say it was awoken, but I think that we knew this was going to be a hard game, and I don't think we took them too lightly, but they certainly picked up the level of intensity, and it showed that we've got to make sure that we've pick it up, otherwise we'll come not second, we'll be finished in the quarterfinals.
And a word on the Welsh challenge, quite special, wasn't it, the way they stepped up?
Yeah, it was excellent, and good luck to them for next week against England. I'm sure that's going to be a great match, and if they play like they did tonight, they've got every chance of beating them.
Thank you for Dave Hewitt. Cheers, mate. Well done.
Nice handshake at the end there. Mark Hinton talking with Dave Hewitt, who was substituted by Case Muse in the second half of that game. So the All Blacks winning 53-37, so they finished top of their pool. We've had all the pool games now.